It's a bird. It's a plane. It's my toilet. And it's also time to talk about Superman. The big question everyone is asking is, does this movie live up to the hype? There was a lot of drama after Henry Cavill left, Zack Snyder got canned, Warner Bros. Hired James Gunn and did the whole reboot, which is now the DCU. And I get it, these were dark times. I myself was frustrated. I loved Henry Cavill as Superman, and I wanted to see the Snyder Vision at least finish rather than stopping halfway through like they did. But guys and girls, this new film by James Gunn and the first film in the new DC universe blew the hype out of the water. Something I love that James Gunn is doing is they're already establishing superheroes in this universe. It's not a new thing in this world. They're not going to have to introduce every single character and explain how, wow, someone with superpowers just appeared. And Clark Kent has already been established as Superman for 3 years. It's kind of similar to the Batman movie that came out in 2022. Newer, younger hero, but we don't need all the backstory because we've gotten that time and time again. I'm not going to get too in depth with the plot of this film because you should just go see it yourself. But simply, we see Clark Kent and Superman as he and the world find out some shocking news that causes people to look at him differently, and also for Superman to look at himself differently. And he has a bit of an identity crisis. We see him, Lois Lane, and a bunch of other superpowered friends and normal mortal friends take on Lex Luthor as Lex Luthor gets up to some, Lex Luthor-ish nonsense. I loved how they did the characters in this film. We get David Cornsweet, of course, as Superman. And as much as I love Henry Cavill, and I know it's not his fault, it's just the writing, he was very robotic at times and very serious, which gave us a darker DCU, and I enjoyed it for a time. But David Cornsweet really is everything Superman's supposed to be, from the comics, from the animated cartoons. He exemplifies hope, he exemplifies some of that dorkiness Clark Kent has. And that's another thing. Often I feel like we see Clark Kent playing a role and acting really dorky and trying to seem so shy. But in this one, Clark Kent just is dorky. He's a funny guy. He's likable. And that's him being true to himself. And then we got the Superman persona, which at times I feel is him more playing a role. Trying to show the world he's Superman. He says a few cheesy quotes where he talks in the third person and Lois Lane calls him out. So I love that change. And the main thing is, we just get emotion. Yes, Henry Cavill had emotion when he killed Zod, but David Cornsweet really amps it up. We get Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, and I think this version of Lois Lane is far superior to Snyder's verse. As someone who's read comics, watched a bunch of the different iterations and animated iterations, she has the sass, she has the confidence, she has the dark hair, and I could really believe in her character. At first in the movie, I thought they were showing that she didn't know Clark was Superman, and I was just like, why? We've seen that so many times. But no, as you see in the trailer, she does know he's Superman, and we see their relationship, and their relationship feels so much more believable. I can't say I ever understood how Henry Cavill's Superman and Amy Adams' Lois Lane made sense. It's more like, oh, Lois, you've been stalking me. You're a human, showing me attention. I think we should love each other. It just didn't fit. But these two, they argue, they make up. They're way different with their personalities, which makes you wonder how it can work, but it does. And then Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. What a beautiful casting. And what a beautiful bald head. But this is the egocentric, super driven, jealous Lex Luthor that we've been waiting for. He has the look, he has the personality, he's super smart but also childish and angry, and even when his plans aren't working, he just doubles down and keeps going. Just like Lex from the Superman animated series from the 90s. Thank you. Then there's a surprise character I think none of us were expecting until that first trailer dropped. Krypto the Superdog. When people heard about this, there was a lot of talk online about cheesiness and that's not gonna work. Or it's the wrong dog, it doesn't look like the one in the comics. It is based on James Gunn's dog after all. But Krypto was an awesome addition and also makes you feel more of that humanity from Clark Kent himself. He's an unruly, not well-behaved dog, but is super likable, helps Superman out in a pinch. And I'm glad this movie went full force into the comic world. Because Krypto, a dog with powers, you usually think wouldn't work. But it does. Then we get our current superhero team. Gosh, what were they called? Not the Justice League, but Justice Squad or something. But we got Ed Gaffney as Mr. Terrific. I haven't seen him in much since X-Men First Class, but he nailed the role. Nathan Fillion as Green Lantern. Gotta love that bold cut straight out of the comics. And Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl, and they made an awesome dynamic as a team. We get Nathan Fillion kind of being the leader. By the way, he's been the voice of Green Lantern in many animated series. We get Mr. Terrific, who's the brains, and then Hawkgirl, who's just this brutal, I don't know if ravenous is the right word, but superhero who just goes in and just bashes away. For those of you that have seen Justice League, the animated series, just like that. Her shrieking every time she went into battle threw me off a little bit. I more wanted a war cry, but it's fine. It'll grow on me. Mr. Terrific also had one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It was very James Gunn-esque. They had a good song playing in the background as you see him just annihilating a bunch of soldiers. Then, of course, there's a bunch of other characters which we don't have time to dive into. Martha Kent, Jonathan Kent, thought they had great people for the roles. Jimmy Olsen plays a larger part, which I really appreciated. And we even get Metamorpho, who they used in a way different way than I was expecting. And I love that. I don't want to get exactly what I expect. I want to be surprised. As far as the story goes, I know a lot of people were concerned, including myself, about the story feeling too convoluted, because in the trailers they show a bunch of battles, a bunch of characters, and I'm like, okay, are we making a Spider-Man 3 mistake here? Having way too many villains, way too many characters, not a lot of screen time. And my friends, it was not convoluted at all. Some might say it felt super. But for how much the trailer showed, in a way you think, man, they're showing way too much. But then again, no, you didn't really know what was happening in the story. You just know Superman fights some people. And the movie gave great screen time to everybody. This is one of the few superhero movies that did this right, along with Infinity War and Endgame, of course. Just go watch it, you'll see what I mean. This is also a movie that was inspired straight out of the comics. I feel like a lot of superhero movies nowadays trap themselves in a corner because they don't want to make you suspend your disbelief too much. So, they have a few comic-y things, but then they try to make it realistic so we can relate. This movie just goes hard into some of the comic concepts. Without spoiling anything, I think this was a great decision. You're leaving it open to do what you want. You're not trapping yourself in the first movie, because then if you want to be creative in a future movie, the audience is going, that's weird. That feels unrealistic. But with this movie, which I believe is a huge win, and I think most audiences are going to love it, they're setting themselves up for success by allowing us to just accept that this world is different. And that's okay. Another concern people had, including myself, was that they'd go way too hard with the humor and that it'd feel cheesy. That's not the vibe I got, because yeah, they had humor, it was funny, but they also had that emotional depth that Superman needs. They had a lot of speeches that made us feel full of hope, which I think we all need right now when people are always at each other's throats. They have some pretty sad moments, they don't shy away from death, but it's a movie your kids can go watch, but that adults can also enjoy. And the whole identity crisis that Superman goes through, I know we get this a lot with superheroes, but I liked it because it was just a part of the film. It wasn't really the sole focus. To me, that would have gotten old. I want to see fights. I want to see confident superheroes. And we still got that. Superman is still amazing. But it's nice to see him having these human emotions that make him seem like less of a god, which I feel is what Man of Steel is going for. He seems like this legendary god figure. And once again, Man of Steel is one of my favorite movies. But I really like this hopeful, relatable Superman that we got in this film. Overall, everybody, it was great. I've seen some people complaining that it felt like the 90s animated series just stretched out. And why is that a bad thing? That's what I wanted. I think that's what a lot of fans wanted. And if you didn't like that, that's alright. But I think most of you are going to love it. The futuristic vibes of Metropolis, the amazing fights, Superman really being an example to families and kids and being a protector. Plus, we got the red shorts back, and I love that. Apparently, that was David Cornsweat's idea because he said, how would the red shorts make sense? And he was like, well, I'm a powerful being. I could destroy the planet if I wanted to. And he wants kids to trust him. So, make him look silly. Put on some red trunks. As for my score for this movie, it's definitely not flushable, and it is my first film of the year that I'm giving a 10 out of 10. I had no big complaints. Nothing that I wish they would have changed. I'm going to release my spoiler review soon, and I'll go into a little more of the details of why I say that. But for now, what did you think of the movie? Did you like Man of Steel and this one? Did you hate Man of Steel and this was refreshing? Or are you one of the Snyder fans that's rebelling, refuses to watch this movie after what happened to Henry Cavill? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. And remember, if you ever use the restroom and you like movies, let me know and click the links for more of both. I'm Superman! We're flying!